to add it.
Hi, everyone. It's Arthur here at Arthur Use Your Mind, and it's Tuesday, so it means it's Aloha Tuesday with the one, the only super elf, Mel Arthur. Sans
Cheers, Grinches.
Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, there you go. I figured I would just wear, a green sweater today. We're having a heat wave in Chicago. The temperature's 39, so it was really cold.
Wow, get out the bathing suit.
There you go. So, alrighty then. So, what's going on?
Well, just to let you know, I really swear the last 2 days I felt like we were in Mercury retrograde. Everything, computers, iPhone upgraded, and I can't get anything that I had. It's just, I'm ready to jump out a window or throw somebody out a window, put me out of my misery.
Me too. It's like we're running late because I tried to get into StreamYard and they changed that whole format. I upgraded my iPhone, they changed that whole format, and I'm like, yeah. And I am computer illiterate. Now I'm getting a message, iPhone disconnected. To add it to the camera list, plug iPhone in with a cable.
Don't worry about that. You're fine.
Well, I don't want to lose all my photos.
No, I understand.
I'm not going to worry about it. I got bigger fish to fry. We have a show to do, right?
Somebody said something about that. Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, right.
We're going to be doing politics tonight, world events.
Yes.
We're not taking personal questions.
I take personal questions once or twice a month on every other Monday evening. So, and that's for my members. So,
and I'll be doing a show with Valerie, I think Wednesday, and that'll be personal readings, and also Kevin Lewis on Friday, personal readings. But all the rest is all politics.
There you go. All right.
So let's go to Auntie Mel's travel blog.
Yes.
First of all, if anyone needs to get a hold of Mel, just open the window and scream. I can't take any more of this. It's meldor.com or call 847-590-5411. And there's some interesting trips coming up this year. Danube River in May, starting in Prague.
And Vista deck on this, there's three cabin levels on the boat. There's Riviera at the bottom, there's Vista second, Horizon top. Vista deck is sold out. I've got a few cabins on Riviera deck and a few on Horizon deck. So and it's pretty much sold out, but I still have openings for probably around 6 people. So if you're interested, if you book it by the end of this month, you get a $200 discount and free round trip airfare coach from Chicago. So, it's going fast. So come with us. I promise you'll have a great time. So thank you.
Well, that's what it said on the bathroom wall. So
not on my trip. Okay.
And then there's Iceland in August for the total solar eclipse.
Well, yeah, that's going to be fun too. It says partial in the brochure, but when I looked at Reykjavik, it says full total eclipse. So I don't know, but at least we'll see an eclipse.
Yeah.
It's only going to last about, I think totality on this one is only going to be about a minute and a half. But it's going to be fun. Iceland is really a neat country. I fell in love with it. It was colder here in Chicago than it is in Iceland. So
that'll do it.
Let me just Google it to make sure. Total solar eclipse in Iceland 2026. We shall see, right? It said a total solar eclipse will sweep across western Iceland August 12th, offering up to 2 minutes and 18 seconds of darkness and whatever. It says, like whatever, with the shadow also touching Reykjavik for about a minute. So it looks like it'll be total for about a minute in Reykjavik. So that's what I'm reading.
I just keep on hearing Bonnie Raitt singing. So
let me check one more thing. Can't go wrong with Dr. Google, right? Give me 1 second. I just want to make sure I check my facts here. Okay, I'm checking. Yes, the total solar eclipse on August 12, 2026 will be visible in Reykjavik, Iceland, though it's near the edge of the path, so totality will be brief, around 1 minute, but complete, with a long partial eclipse before and after, offering a rare chance to see it in the capital of Reykjavik. It's going to be around 5:48 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So there you go. All right.
Moving right along to the travel log.
So Galapagos Islands in September of 2026. That one departs September 8th. And I think Iceland departs, is it the 10th?
I don't have the date on that.
What were the dates on Iceland? I forget. But anyway, it's a month later. So we'll fly into Quito, Ecuador. We'll tour Quito for a day or two. Then we'll fly to one of the Galapagos Islands. We'll get on the ship. Only holds 60 people. And we'll go to 4 or 5 different Galapagos Islands for 4 days. So the total trip is 7 days. And then we'll fly back home. So join us. It's going to be incredible. That's in Ecuador. Always wanted to see the Galapagos. So never been. So there you have it.
There's your bucket list.
There's my bucket list. All right.
Moving right along.
Yes. Boy, Chicago winter. People ask me what it's like to live through a Chicago winter. And the answer is one word: brutal. Needless to say, with a dry winter air, skin gets chapped. And I have been using it on my face with the serums, but also on my hands, because if I don't put something on there in the winter, they get cracked and they bleed. So with the serums and the moisturizer, it's incredible stuff. I asked Andrew if I could take a bath in it because it's great. So check it out, you all. andro.nikki.com to order it.
Andrew/Nikki.
Yes, there you go.
Nice.
So no, we don't get paid for this.
No. And tonight we have the one and only Voices from the Swamp sharing behind the scenes.
The Ragin' Cajun.
Yeah. So if you need to get a hold of Sherry, swampvoices@gmail.com, or you can find her at Voices from the Swamp here on YouTube.
There you go.
Now,
Right.
I'm going to plug. That's okay. March 15th.
When is it?
It's March 15th, the Ides of March.
Ooh, now could you say that date one more time?
March 15th.
There you go.
15th.
Yeah.
It's a Sunday, and it's all day with Valerie and myself. This is basically a live version of what we do in the Zoom event, and it'll be 2 hours of a group read, and then a break, and then I'll be doing readings, and Val will do readings as well. So it's a whole day with us, and so there's 2 seats available. So DragonflyCrystals.Store. And one other thing I'd like to mention is we're heading into winter solstice, December 21st. So I have a little It's a 7-minute like short talking about how to manifest your dreams by using the power of the winter solstice. This is something you would do on December 21st after sundown. And I've been doing it for many years, and it's never failed me. And it's to bring in the new year. And somebody
Now,
asked me, can this work if I'm in the southern hemisphere? It's like, yes, it still can.
well, that would be their shortest day of the year. It's
Yeah.
no, I'm sorry, their longest day of the year
Longest day of the
because
year.
it's
Right. But it's just the equinox energy helps.
Right. Now,
So-
is that going to be on a video, or is that going to be something?
It's already up. It's already up on my website. I mean, on YouTube, under the category of timeless tools for fast results.
Okay.
And it's a 7-minute baseless video with my voice. I did the editing, did the music, did everything to it. So it's a good one. And like I said, I've done this every year, and it's never failed. Okay.
Good.
And if anybody needs to get a hold of me, I do have openings starting in January. I'm at ArthurEaseYourMind.com. Okay. So there we go.
There you go. Yay.
Public service announcements.
There you have it. All right.
So lots of craziness happening today these days. I mean, the whole Rob Reiner thing is just this whole town is just quiet. Everyone in Los Angeles is just stunned. So,
well, the thing that, I mean, it's just horrific what happened. And then the thing that happened in Australia is horrific. And then the Brown University was also horrific. I think we have to speak up to put an end to this violence. It's just not acceptable. Rob Reiner, when I read Trump's comment about had somebody been a leader, they would have said, this was a horrible thing. Whether or not you agree with the guy's politics, it was still horrible. It should have happened. And Trump was just so disjointed, and it was just, his comment was vile. And even MAGAs and even a lot of Republicans came out and spoke out against what Trump said. Yeah. And it just shows the kind of character the man has. If you agree with Trump, you're a hero. If you don't, he says this vitriolic.
But then he also was asked about it, and he doubled down on, I hated the man. Well, right. He was murdered, But on my Sunday show, I said to Trump, I've been saying for a while, the end of the month, that Trump is going to say and do something, and something's going to come out that even his own people are going to go, what the F? And I think this is part of it. Because like you said, even the MAGA trolls were saying, you went too far.
He did go too far. But yet, if when Charlie Kirk was murdered, it was horrible. I didn't agree with the guy's politics, but it was horrible. And anybody with any moral compass at all would say it was horrible. But, but yet when, Trump spoke highly of Charlie Kirk, but yet now Rob Reiner and Trump makes this just vile, disgusting comment. Yeah. And those are the only words I can put on him: vile and disgusting.
And I think Rob Reiner had a little bit more going for him than Charlie Kirk did.
I won't let Trump's comment diminish the loss of this incredibly talented, and they say very nice man.
I was telling Sherry before the show, I met him twice through the years, and he was always very gracious, just a gentleman through and through. He was also very, very, very instrumental here in Los Angeles with equality when they had the Prop 8 and stuff like that. So he was very instrumental and making sure that everyone is treated equally.
You know, I mean, here again, you can't diminish Trump's comment cannot diminish
This man's work,
this man's talent and the wonderful things he's done. He's done a lot more wonderful things than Donald Trump could ever think of doing. And,
well, it just reminds me of the line from his movie, A Few Good Men, when Colonel Jessup, the truth, you can't handle the truth, Donald.
Exactly, right. Anyway, it's a sad state of affairs. So,
yeah. So, go on.
You know, I mean, you know, I think Rob Reiner had, you know, a couple of other children. So not only did they lose their dad and their mom, you know, they also, at the end of the day, lost a brother.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really a triple tragedy. And it's a comment on, you know, if anything, Donald Trump should have came forward and said it's a comment on how we treat mental illness in this country.
Exactly.
And we really need to put money into identifying and treating the things that can lead to this sort of violent behavior, and to really put money into treatment for mentally ill people.
Mentally ill and drug addicts.
Of course, well, never mind. But I was going to say Donald Trump has got some screws loose too.
Well, yeah, well, the man's, I think if Robert Kennedy's wondering where that little worm went, I think I found it. Donald. In his brain. But, anyway, but the man's rotting inside, so not for long.
But, you know, during this Hanukkah season, you know, our prayers and our thoughts go out to our Jewish brothers and sisters who were senselessly slaughtered and murdered in Australia. It was just horrible. And to the people at Brown University who also were injured and murdered. It's just this gun violence is getting out of control. I predict that I was going to say Iceland. I predict that Australia will pass a lot of legislation toughening gun control laws in that.
Oh, they already have it. They've already putting stuff through.
Yeah, you know, here it just gets it's almost become so commonplace. I think people get numb to it. Just like Donald Trump's comments, people get numb to it. And our job, at least I feel, in our community here, is to speak up against these sorts of injustices and to speak up against this sort of senseless murder and violence. But yet we have a government, well, the Trump regime, who actually, in my opinion, just my opinion, you know, purports violence. You know, we have a president who called for an insurrection.
And he has he had a fundraiser last night, email saying they're going to take away your guns. They're going to impeach me. They're, you know, it's like,
you know, so they always go back
$47 now, and I'll send you a MAGA hat.
They always go back to that. They're going to take away your guns. But a lot of people aren't buying into the rhetoric any longer.
No.
You know, how many people attended, you know, his fundraiser? Probably 2.
Well, no, it was an email fundraiser where he sent $47 and we'll send you a MAGA hat. But I mean, Jasmine Crockett carries a gun. She goes hunting. So come on. You know, they can't say it's just, you know, the lefties are afraid of guns.
It's not about, you know, it's about responsible people having responsible gun control laws. We don't need assault weapons to go hunting.
Right. It's like getting a bazooka to kill a rabbit. You know, it's a little, you know.
I mean, you know,
you need a license to drive a car.
You
can't drive a car drunk.
We can't own hand grenades. We can't own Sherman tanks. So, you know, assault weapons, AK-47s, are not meant to go hunting. They're meant for one purpose only, and that is to kill. That's right. So, you know, ever notice, like, when we have someone in office like Trumpolini, how violence escalates because they report violence. They say they don't, but they do.
He flams
I mean,
the flames.
we have, look at Hegseth and supposedly the order he gave for those 2 survivors in the water. And by the way, my guides tell me that was not a drug boat.
No, none of them were.
And the reason that they didn't get them out of the water is because they knew that those 2 guys would tell the truth and say, we had nothing to do with drugs. We're but here again.
But in October, there was something, and there were 2 survivors, and they rescued them and sent them home.
That's right. So here again, this whole thing that he's doing against Venezuela, 1, he wants part of their minerals, which he'll never get. 2, not all of these people are in Venezuelan gangs, like the guy that ICE arrested here in Chicago and beat up, and Trump, he was part of a Venezuelan gang. Wrong, he was not.
And then when they took the oil rig, somebody asked Trump, well, what happens to the oil now? He goes, we're going to keep it.
Right. They're using this to wag the dog, like the magician in the tarot deck. We're going to do this over here to cover up what we're doing here. It is a diversion, it's a distraction and a detraction from the Epstein files, which they should have been released already, but I see them released, and I also see them leaked.
I also see the 19th where Pam Bondi's going to come up with something, saying, well, we're going to release what we can.
And she will come up with some BS, and the courts are going to get really angry and say, no, the court order was to release them.
The fact that this whole administration is ignoring court orders, like Christine Ohm.
Finger, it's a complete distraction. And, these judges are going to get angry and say, we're holding you in criminal contempt, as well as they should. So this whole Venezuela thing is a distraction.
He wants the oil and he wants the minerals.
Well, and also he wants to create a distraction because they know within those Epstein files, and they're going to be pretty damning. I still see them released, if not through legal means, through whistleblowers.
Yeah, but look at all the information that the Republicans hid, and the Democrats just went to the estate and said, can we have some stuff here? And they just handed it over. The Republicans never asked for any of that.
That's right.
Hey, guys, love you both so much. Great outfit, Mel.
Well, I've had this old sweater I've had for years. I had on a red one last night, and I got this at the grocery store. It's the Cheers Grinches or Greetings Grinches. Because Sherry had a Grinch hat, and when I saw it, I'm thinking, I gotta wear that. There you go. So, not that Sherry is a Grinch, but Sherry, you put the idea in my head. So.
We'll just call you Shelf on an Elf, Elf on a Shelf.
No, Melf the Elf.
Melf the Elf.
Melf
that sounds like something else. Hi, Teresa Springs. Thank you. Thank you. You are keeping me sane through all this mess we are in.
That and Prozac.
B&B Valium with a B&B chaser does it for me.
Valium with a Prozac chaser.
Yeah. Just bleed through your eyes. Hi, Nora. Good evening, Arthur and Mel. Will Jack Smith's testimony damage 47 more? Is Jack safe from being taken out?
Where I'm doing my bobblehead. Yes, it'll damage him more. No, he's not going to be taken out. But how much you want to bet Trump will say, I'm going to press charges against him, and he'll try some, no pun intended, trumped up BS, and it'll go as far as it did with Comey and Letitia James. Not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. Especially when Lindsay Halligan signs the warrant.
She's going to lose her law license, I'm telling you.
Oh, yes, she is.
And Pam Bondi is going to lose hers. I keep saying that Pam Bondi is going to end up indicted for obstruction of justice and abuse of power and cover-ups. The same as with Kash Patel, and the same as with Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem's in deep doo-doo, and Trump is going to end up turning against her just like he did with Martin Taylor Green. And how much you want to bet when push comes to shove, and this is the first time I predicted this one, my psychic light bulb just went on, that he's going to also throw Pam Bondi under a bus, big time.
Yeah.
I see a huge rift coming between those two as well. Oh, I didn't do it. It was Bondi.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the buck doesn't stop here.
Right.
But what do you see for Ted Cancun Cruz, a Texan asking for Texans? I see him leaving soon.
I'm sorry, say again, Arthur. I'm sorry.
I see Ted Cruz losing his seat. I predicted before and I was wrong, but this time I'm really getting more and more.
I went to a march once. It was after, one of the gun massacres, and those kids that, the high school kids, and they put it, that I think it was a high school or college where those kids were killed. And it was Our Lives Matter here in Chicago. And it was during Trump's first ill-gotten election that he stole his first term. And they were chanting, vote them out, vote them out, vote them out. So guess what? That's what I see for Ted Cruz. Him voted out, him voted out, him voted out. So,
hey Ted, we got a timeshare for you in Cancun.
Cancun doesn't want him.
Yeah. Will Keg's Breath be forced to release the footage from the second boat strike? He had no problem releasing the tanker footage. Let's see if it's still around, because they said he was actually erasing tapes.
He did. And he's another one that's going to be, I see tribunals and people charged with war crimes and crimes against humanity. And he's going to be one of them, if not in this country, at least in a world tribunal.
Yeah. I
see him in this country because whoever ordered that strike, and Hexeth knew about it, don't kid yourself. They tried to throw the admiral under the bus, but that didn't work. I see him, and I don't mean to sound disingenuous when I see all these people being indicted, but my guides show it to me. Hexeth, I see, is going to be held responsible for those two people that were killed, those that were hanging on to the debris of the boat.
Yeah,
I mean, is going to say I was just doing my job. No, you can't use that.
I'm going to up that. I feel he's going to be tried for murder.
Well, exactly. I
mean,
mean,
all the other people in the boats they've blown up.
But also in this country as well, because I think it's against one of the Geneva Conventions, or it's against the law here too, that if you have survivors, there was I think it was in Vietnam or somewhere, I forget where it was, but that an official got in huge trouble for ordering survivors to be taken out.
Melee.
That was Melee, but there was another one as well. So, during the Nuremberg trials, there were Nazis that were hung because they ordered the senseless killing of survivors. Mm-hmm. So that's exactly what's going to, Hexeth is going to be indicted and convicted.
Yeah, I see him being incarcerated.
So do I.
Shooting star.
The admiral, that if he gave the order, I see him stripped and I see him court-martialed. Maybe not under Trump.
I don't see that the admiral gave the order. That's the thing.
Well,
but he could have stopped it.
He knew about it and he could have stopped it.
Yeah. So Shooting Star wants to know, will other countries place sanctions against the United States for the violation and violence they are perpetuating against, I just speak sometimes, against
yes. Yeah. As much as I don't like Maduro, he's a left-wing he's a left-wing dictator. Trump is a right-wing one, but a dictator is a dictator. No matter what side of the fence you're on. And But the thing is, Maduro did not do anything against this country.
Correct. Well, no.
Trump started it because he needed a diversion.
And it's
And
the drug boats. Then, if he's so upset about drug boats, why did he give a pardon to a drug lord?
convicted drug dealer?
Yeah.
Right. So I hear, that other countries are going to demand that justice be done because of what Trump did. Also, it's look how Putin invaded Ukraine for no reason. It was a BS reason. And Trump is itching to do that in Venezuela, but
it's not going to happen. I don't see it.
No, I don't either.
Okay. Lovely gentleman, is Susie Wiles going to be fired?
Yep. They're going to find a reason.
Once she has the book deal. Sells the rights to Netflix.
Stuff that she said, and Trump kind of agreed with it, but there's some other stuff coming out, and they'll think of a reason to get rid of her.
Of course. She's breathing.
She walked funny.
Yeah. Dehydrated water sale. Lots of people read on Orange Tea's health. I was wondering about the health of Putin and Netanyahu. Don't wish death on them, but would like to see them leave. Thank you.
I see Netanyahu, the Israeli people. I see a lot of protests in Israel against Netanyahu. I'm pro-Israel, but I don't like Netanyahu at all. He's another one that's going to be...
It's like, I'm pro-United States. I'm not for Trump.
Correct. Exactly. But I see him ousted, and Putin as well. I've said for a long time, Putin needs to watch his health, as does Trump. I'm not picking up anything on Netanyahu's health, but
I don't either. But I've always felt Putin, his people take him out. I've always felt that. And I also feel, I've always seen him as Tweedledee and Tweedledum. One goes down, the other follows.
Arthur, Putin will fall out of first floor window.
Yeah. That's why he's living in a basement.
Right.
Do you see Cheetolino firing Kash Patel? Well, if he does, he won't see it coming. He doesn't know. Never mind.
I don't see Kash Patel being in this position for a long time. But
when they did the Brown, you think the head of the FBI would be on the ground investigating the Brown incident? No, he was on a podcast with his girlfriend on Stephen Miller's wife's channel.
And then they got the wrong guy because Trump came. We have a person. It was the wrong guy. So,
thank you, Cash. Yeah, he's going down. Hi, Arthur and Mel. Love to you both. Will there be any delay to ACA subsidies expiring?
Yes, I mean the House Republicans ditched a vote on the Affordable Care Act. And Johnson even refused.
He lied
to vote on it. Right, he lied. So
because they have their own quote unquote now healthcare plan.
They have nothing, zero.
I said quote unquote.
Right, exactly. They said they're going to delay it until I don't know, a couple months.
Well, the thing it's if they don't do something to fix it, we're gonna have another shutdown at the end of January.
Oh, that's what I think too. It's funny. It's not funny, but I saw something on Trump's media arm. That news network that, right? And they were, they put up something about Trump was talking about how wonderful his first year as president and all the wonderful things he did. And I thought, what did he do that was so wonderful? Inflation is sky high. You can't afford to go to the grocery store. He dismantled a lot of departments in the government. He gave his wealthy friends all these tax cuts, but on the backs of the working class and the poor. Let's see. He cut programs, so because of that, people are starving. He's let's see how far do we go here? He has endorsed and is behind the wholesale roundup and and deportation of our Latino brothers and sisters and putting them in concentration camps. He's taken children away from their families. I mean, so if that's wonderful, then the plague is a fairy tale. I mean,
yeah. It's like when he wrote in the Rob Reiner piece, he was saying, we're in the golden age
of
the
what?
golden era. Yeah, well, of what, showers?
I'm not touching.
Sorry, that just kind of came out of my mouth. I apologize.
Like that when he was in Russia.
Yeah.
Rumor has it the water there coming out of the tap is yellow.
Well, just don't eat the yellow snow.
There you go.
Hi, Arthur, Mel. You two are hilarious. What do you see coming up for Gavin Newsom? Thank you so much.
I see him having a run for president, and if he does, I feel him winning. But Kelly is going to be, I thought at first Kelly, but I want to tell you something. He is fiery, and he's standing up to Trump.
I don't see, but I don't see him that in position of president. I see him high up.
He'd be a good vice president.
Actually, be good of replacing Hegseth with him.
I also foresee him very, very high up in government.
Yeah.
If Newsom is smart when he runs for president, and I feel that he will, he should choose Kelly as his running mate.
We'll see. We'll see on that.
I got a good feeling about that. I could be wrong. But... All right.
Oh, Nora. Will Rob's documentary on Putin and Cittadini be released? He was working on it before his death.
Yes. And it is going to be damning. And Trump is going to be like, it's not true. It was fake.
It's all AI.
And, he's going to, because now that Rob Reiner's in spirit, but, Trump's going to try to vilify Rob Reiner even more, but it's going to make people are going to be.
The more he tries, the more it's going to backfire on him.
Well, there's going to be people who will come forward who worked on this documentary say, no. Everything in this is true.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be released. Trump will try to block the release of it with all these big fancy dancy lawsuits and all of this and all that. I see it released. And it's going to be like, it's going to be pretty damning. So.
Okay.
Sherry.
Helen, any updates on Putin health?
No more than what I've already said. I've said all along that I see dark clouds around Putin's chest area, so he's got to watch maybe heart or lungs. But
you need a heart to worry about it.
Yeah, I got to have a heart to worry about it. Just don't go near first floor windows, Vladimir.
Yeah. Raymond, will Trash Patel be fired or will he leave on his own? I feel he resigns, knowing that he's going to be fired the next day.
Right. My psychic light bulb went on. Once Cittadini is gone and Shady Vance and maybe Ling Queen is gone, I see investigations against Patel. And here again, I see him indicted for obstruction of justice and abuse of power. But they would offer him some sort of deal to come forward about things that he knows that would also implicate other high-ranking officials in government. So
he'd rat him out.
There you go. Raymond, I like your last name. Di Pasquale. Must be Irish. I'm teasing.
Well, 2026 have some gun reform.
Not as long as Cittadini's in office.
Well, I was going to say something about the end of 2027.
I have a question. I wrote this here in my notes. We know what becomes of Mike Johnson. I had predicted, and I think many of us had said it, but that Marjorie Taylor Greene was going to sponsor another petition to get him out of House Speaker. And I think I read on it
She's one vote off.
Monday that and right after I predicted it, it happened. She's doing that. So what happens to Mike Johnson? I see him ousted as Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
I mean, after that, then politically he's dead in the water. So
He'll become a lobbyist for Grindr.
Do you see him ousted, Arthur?
I said he'll be a lobbyist for Grindr.
He'll do an ad for Grindr.
Yeah. But I just see him going away. I see them all just, but I also see there's something legally in a scandal around him as well. So we'll see what happens.
Well, Johnson refused to call a vote to expand the subsidies under the Affordable Care Act, effectively really guaranteeing that they'll expire at the end of this month. So, and that's not going to make him look popular either. I see many Republicans leaving the House, not leaving, which is going to open up a lot of seats. So yeah. I'm thinking that the balance of power in the House could very easily shift even before the midterms.
Well, I said back in February that I felt the House could turn blue before the midterms.
Right.
Sharon, compared to 2025, will most Americans overall feel safer and happier in 2026?
They're going to feel more insecure. They're going to be spending more at the grocery stores. They're going to see inflation. Trump's going to tell us how wonderful things are, but we're all going to know they're not.
I can hear that too, but I also feel as we get more towards the second quarter, there's a big shift. So, for the better.
Well,
so I'm saying I do not see him around in office after February. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say what I keep on getting. It's like Gene Dixon said, if you feel it, say it.
I'm thinking that, with him refusing to take that vote on the Affordable Care Act, that means that there's going to be much higher insurance premiums. And the funny part is 3/4 of the people, I read this, 3/4 of the people on Obamacare are in states that Trump won.
Yeah, because they think Obamacare and ACA are two different things.
Right, exactly. They're saying, oh, well, it's going to cost $35 billion. Yet, how much money did Trump give to Saudi Arabia? It was billions, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, how about the $40 billion he gave to Argentina?
Oh, bingo, Argentina. I'm sorry. Yeah. So they're saying $35 billion is too much for Americans to be able to have affordable health care, but I'll give Argentina $40 billion so we can eat their beef. What?
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And beef up their beef industry.
Bingo. He has spent more money than any president in American history for stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And he's not that great of a business person because every business he's touched, he's bankrupted and then tied it up in litigation for years so he could try to screw over the contractors. And many of them went bankrupt because of his
all the people from the Taj Mahal.
Correct. Because of his corruption, if you will. So,
hi, Mel Arthur.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What do you see for the economy for 2026? Like I said, I feel the housing market after the second quarter actually improves. and I feel interest rates go down.
Well, I see inflation. I see grocery prices going higher. You know, they don't have anything to replace the Affordable Health Care Act. And so people are going to be screaming about that.
Mm-hmm.
Once Trump is gone, then the economy will get better. I see the stock market taking some huge hits. I just see inflation. I don't see a depression, thank goodness. But inflation leading to recession. So isn't it funny when the Republicans get in office, you can have the best economy in the world. Within a year, they screw everything up.
Well,
And then
Clinton,
it takes Democrats to rebuild it.
Clinton had a surplus.
Oh, he did. But then George Bush, everything he did, it put us back in debt again.
And then Obama did everything he could to 8 years to get everything back in track.
And then Trump screwed us up. Then Biden started to pull us out.
Yeah. So it's, gee.
You know, it's funny how quickly people forget. I heard Bill Maher say that, you know, when it comes election time, people don't give one hoot about social issues. They care about the economy and things like that. Well, now it's going to be economy and social issues,
and
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that people, you know, Trump has the lowest popularity rate of any president, and his is going to plummet even more. So,
Laura in Austin, Rob Reiner was a passionate liberal. Now that he is on the other side, does he have anything to tell us about America and what we can expect coming up? Is he helping us from the other side?
All I can say is he's going to be helping us from the other side, but I don't want to hook into his spirit right now because
it's too early.
It's too early, and I don't want to exploit his passing away and the heinous way that he died. Let's wait before we call on his spirit.
Yeah.
But rest assured, he will be helping us from the other side.
Thank you, Laura. Mr. Biggs. Oh, look at that doggy. Look at those cute eyes. Hi, Mel Arthur. Do you gentlemen usually have a yearly prediction video that you will post?
I usually do mine after the first of the year for the predictions for the coming year. And I'll let people know. It'll say predictions by Mel or predictions by Arthur and predictions by Sherry.
I usually don't. I don't know.
I do, you know. I do. But
y'all wake up breathing tomorrow. Yay.
But I'll let everybody know.
Thank you, Mr. Beggs. Sheila, will the real person that gave the order for the boat blasting be exposed?
Yes, absolutely.
Bobblehead time.
We do that well in unison.
We're still working on our shuffle ball change, you know, in unison backstage. Raymond, new questions emerging about the Butler gunman. Did the FBI withhold information about the assassination attempt? Will new details emerge? I always say yes on this.
Yes, on them holding information on the assassination attempt, absolutely.
It was manufactured, is what my guide said.
Well, yeah, he lost half of his ear. I remember that big man. It looked like he had a sanitary napkin on his ear.
Remember people at the convention were wearing sanitary napkins on their ears,
and it magically grew back. I'm like, please.
Well, that was from the clone, you know. Either that or one of those. What is one of those reptilians that have limbs growing back?
No, Trump is like, reptilians are too evolved.
Yeah, that's true. I always say, watch the movie The Manchurian Candidate with Angela Lansbury, and it explains all that.
That was a good movie.
Especially the end when she said, "You shall shoot the presidential nominee through the head."
Oh, that was a good movie.
And then he will rise up with blood on his hands in front of the cameras and blah, 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 blah. And we will
really good.
Yeah. And
there was a one after that came out. They did another version of it.
Yeah, with
I forget who was that. It was really a good movie.
Denzel Washington.
That's when movies were movies.
Well, that's also when Angela Lansbury was only 2 years older than Lawrence Harvey, playing his mother.
Oh, wow.
She was good. And Lucille Ball actually wanted that part, but it ended up going to Angela Lansbury.
Lucille Ball was a brilliant comedic actress. Her timing was perfect. I've been watching old episodes, and even though it was slapstick, I mean, her expressions, her facial expressions, the blocking, her movements. I mean, it was just incredible.
Well, I was just talking to somebody today. We were talking about Star Trek, and I said, if it wasn't for Lucille Ball, there'd be no Star Trek.
That's right, because it was Desilu Studios.
It was Paramount. She owned Paramount, and when Gene Roddenberry went in for the meeting, he said, "Think of it like Cowboys in Space." I said, "Okay."
She was a perfectionist, but I mean, she had CBS marching to her drum beat. I mean, Desilu, they built that whole studio. They had some great shows. You know, if you look at a lot of those famous shows from the 60s and 70s, I don't know when Desilu disbanded, but a lot of them were. It was Desilu Studios who
and it was Desi that basically created the 3-camera system that we still use today.
Yep, he did. Yep. So. I saw that movie, The Ricardos. That was a good movie.
Yes.
It was about a week in the production of I Love Lucy.
Yeah. And how they're all scrubbing the bathrooms themselves, really, in real life. When Trump was in Saudi Arabia earlier this year, he was shown some pictures on camera. 2 other men. I think one was MBS, were behind him laughing. What were the pictures of?
Wait, who's MBS?
The son, the prince.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, okay.
I'm not getting an answer.
I'm not getting an answer to that. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like, talk about inflation. Look at Miss February. Fred Smith. Hi, y'all. Good to see you both. Will Hegseth and Trump get charged for murder on the high seas?
Hegseth will. Trump will be like, I don't know anything about it. It was.
Laura, Trump is giving national address tomorrow night. It is very secretive. What in the world is it about, and how will it go?
He's probably going to be talking about how great he is and how wonderful things are and all that stuff.
Would this be an acceptable answer?
Raspberries. I think he's going to be a big part on Venezuela.
Oh, it's. I'm sure Stephen Miller is working overtime on the propaganda.
Oh, please. Oh, what do you see happening to Stephen Miller? That wasn't a gout pain. That was like the light bulb went on.
Stripes.
Yeah, he's going to be
orange.
Well, that man is such a fascist.
His own family disowned him. What's the energy around Barron? Is he being groomed to take over Turning Point?
I don't see that.
No.
I don't think Melania would want him to.
I don't know.
And how about the BBB, the Big Beautiful Ballroom? Do you see that coming to completion?
No.
Because I don't. I keep seeing pictures of bulldozers tearing down what's there and putting the Rose Garden back.
I have the Rose Garden coming back. I see them redoing the East Wing, fortifying it, making it beautiful. Big, beautiful White House.
They should sell bricks from the Big Beautiful Ballroom. It would be like,
and then they can throw them at the person. Never mind. Hi guys, is this potentially the end of the GOP? There've been so many variations. I mean, we had GOP, the Reagan Republicans, then we had the Tea Party Republicans. Now we have the MAGAs.
Well, even Trump now is disavowing himself from the MAGAs because, with the whole Marjorie Taylor Greene
Yeah,
thing.
he's saying that
He's,
you're now Republicans or something. Some
yeah,
weird name.
exactly. Yeah, Trumplicans or Trump. Yeah, it's all about him. So I think the Republican Party, as it once was, croaked a long time ago. I think people confuse conservatism with fascism. Trump
Nowadays.
and the ultra right wing, supposedly Christians, MAGAs, those are fascists. That's
Yeah.
not republicanism at all. That's not conservatism.
No.
And when
What happened to small government?
I hear conservatism, I scream. I'll tell you who's a good example of conservatism, and that is George Conway.
Mhm.
But I think that a lot of what they call center Republicans or centrist Republicans, they're going to be turning against Trump, and a lot of people are going to start speaking up against him because Trump, he's losing that fear factor he has over people, and they're going to be like, we're not afraid of him any longer. Bring it on. And my question is, why didn't they speak up in the first place? But
Yeah. And he always reminded me of I think it was the Twilight Zone episode with Billy Mooney, where everybody had to behave or else they get thrown. The little boy would take him out and put him into the cornfield.
Right.
And he turned the one person into a big jack in the box.
I'll tell you who's going to come back with a vengeance is oh God, Liz Cheney. I see her running for something again and winning. But I think that once Trump is gone and Vance is gone, that'll pretty much be an end of the MAGA movement.
Yeah, no, hail Hydra.
Yeah, right. Well, Vance, if he's president, he's not going to be president long, and he would be a lame duck. And Trump is already becoming a lame duck. And for somebody like Donald Trump, who's so power hungry, being a lame duck is a good karmic ending for him.
About a month ago, I had a dream. I haven't really talked about it, where I felt Trump gets rid of Vance and replaces Vance with Marco Rubio.
Well, he can't really get rid of him. You can't
I'm
fire
just
him.
saying, it was in a dream. It was a dream.
Well,
we can do things in dreams.
Well, that brings up a point. What happens to Marco Rubio after this?
Stripes, perhaps.
I don't know about stripes, but
I'm just doing my job.
And JD Vance, clearly, this is the end of his career.
Oh, he'll just change his name and write another book. Do a makeover. He'll have a reality makeover show on Bravo. Anyway, I think we've got time for one more question.
And get some different eyeliner.
Yeah. Did 45's MRI show anything other than he's a pedophile?
Oh, don't say that. We'll get in YouTube jail for that.
A pedo. So I feel there's a lot of mental decline there. That's why they keep on doing that's what they did with his father. Take him in for MRIs and do cognitive tests.
Right. I don't know. I just see that they're not even telling the truth about the MRI. So.
Oh no, they're not. No, I'm just looking at what I'm getting psychically is like, he's rotting on the inside.
Right. Shows he doesn't have a brain.
Yeah. He's like, actually, if you think about it, he's all the characters from The Wizard of Oz. He doesn't have a heart. He doesn't have a brain. He has no courage.
And he's a fraud and a phony. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Yeah. Well, Tallarico and Crockett do a classy primary and then join forces around whichever wins to beat Cronin or Paxton. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the way politics used to be.
Right. I see Paxton in deep trouble. That hasn't gone away.
No. I've never.
So
And I love the fact that Abbott said if Crockett were to win, he'd resign.
he said, "What? I'm sorry."
If Crockett were to win, he would resign. That's like fire, pants on fire.
Well,
Why
here's
would
the pen. Just sign. I think she'll win, provided they count the votes right.
They'll find the off ramp for him.
Correct. Well,
All
I
right.
think he can't run again. I think, isn't he termed out or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Um,
But when does it ever stop these people?
I feel like Texas will go purple within the next 4 years, 3 or 4 years.
I feel we're in for some surprises.
That redistricting is going to bite them right in the rear
Well,
end.
they watered down their districts, so it's more better chance for the Democrats.
Right.
Tennessee proved that.
Yeah, exactly.
22
And look,
points ahead.
Indiana stood up.
Yay,
They said, no,
Hoosiers.
they're not going to do it.
Yay, Hoosiers. I was surprised. I thought at the last minute, I thought they were going to, but I'm glad.
It's the first state that'll go purple. Kentucky will.
I do like their bourbon. Great show from both. God bless and happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy
And
holidays.
I tell Mel I'm spelling it D-A-Z-E.
Days. Happy holidays.
Days. Thank you,
right.
everyone, for being here. I guess next week will be on Mel's channel if you're here.
Well, I won't be here next week because we're leaving for Kentucky. That's the 23rd, correct?
Let me double check. I believe so.
If it's
23rd.
the 23rd. Yes. I will be driving to Kentucky. And
then the following week would be the 30th.
So that would be, then we'll be back on the 30th.
Okay. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll keep everyone posted and updated with travels with our Auntie Mel.
There you go.
All right, everyone. We'll see you around. Thank you for being here tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Everybody stay safe and warm.
Says the elf on the shelf. All right.
The elf. Melf the elf.
All right, everybody. Night, night.